Sacramento County's $1 million solution to help the homeless is now 3 months behind schedule. The tiny home community on Florin Road, set to open in fall, now pushed to next year, potentially. ABC 10's Devin Truby has been on this story since the first homes started being built. And Devin, you're looking into telling us what the holdup is here.
That's right, Walt, and it's the supply chain issue that many of us are facing as well. Anything from as simple as fencing. Sure, when you drive by, they have one up right now, but it has to be switched out to one that provides more privacy and security before they can even move forward with this site. Tiny home community off Florin Road will one day be home to 125 people once the county can get a contractor to run the site.
Had some internal delays. The Board of Supervisors asked us to do 6 weeks of additional community outreach, which delayed our initial estimate. And now that the provider is reviewing the site plan and making some additional changes, that delays our building permits and thus our ordering of materials.
Jenna Haynes at Sacramento County says CityNet put in for the contract but is still waiting approval from the board. They run tiny home communities across the state and are already making suggestions for improvements, but that's where supply chain issues come in.
We have giant tents that we're waiting for, electrical cord, sanitation stations.
And while the 6 weeks of additional outreach is pushing the project by months, it is the ultimate goal.
It's to do outreach to people who are already living unsheltered in this immediate area, within, several thousand feet up to a mile.
Or just on the other side of the fence, Taekwon Lee saw the houses and moved his entire life over to Florin Road, starting his own line for the community.
Sooner or later, they'll get people in there, so it'll come up again.
He hopes this would finally give him a place to call home.
Warming, like winter time's coming up, or Christmas time and New Year's, and I have a late date with my sister.
That's the goal of the site, to not just shelter people, but transition them to housing and a life. The county expects it'll be $5.5 million to get the site up and operational, plus the contract for day-to-day. We talked to the manufacturer of these homes, Pallet, that said they aren't experiencing any supply chain issues. So construction's done on their part, which is good because the county also wants to open another tiny home lot in 2023. And that's why the county says they don't want to push this opening, saying this is their one-time opportunity to prove to Sacramento this is the permanent solution, housing.
Yeah, it's interesting because in these scenarios, you mentioned supply chain issues during
Right.
COVID, cement, concrete, all of these things that come over in ships, not having it. So it's interesting that that's not an issue in this case.
It's definitely different supplies,
Yeah.
but I think it's still the supply chain issue as well. So hopefully for Sacramento right now, we're seeing about 10,000 in the unhoused community, 7,000 still looking for that housing. Hopefully this will be part of that answer.
All right, Devin Truby, thank you for staying on that.